I'll never forget a story I once read about neurologist Oliver Sacks. He was observing a group of his patients during the presidential speech in 1984. The patients all had aphasia, which is essentially an inability to process spoken language, usually because of a stroke. Patients with aphasia have a heightened ability to interpret body language, tonal quality, and other nonverbal cues. The brain damage that is suffered typically leads to a finely tuned capacity to pick up emotional truth from fiction. Essentially, aphasiacs have an awesome bullshit detector. So as Ronald Reagan was delivering his speech, Oliver watched as all of his aphasiac patients were laughing, amused, and some keeled over in disbelief. One of his patients said, either he is brain damaged or he has something to conceal. And for all of his charm and all of his rehearsal, Ronald Reagan was not fooling any of the aphasiac patients. He was being inauthentic, and he probably didn't even know it. If you want to understand another perfect example of inauthenticity, just watch anytime Kamala Harris gets interviewed. I'm convinced Trump won just because you actually knew what you were getting with Trump. With Kamala Harris, you have no idea who she is or what she's about because there's so much rehearsal and character, and you don't actually understand who she is underneath it. And all of this reminds me of shifts of perception that I've experienced from doing deep spiritual transformation work and detox work. When you open up the pineal gland, when you cleanse this vehicle, you start to realize that a lot of people may feel fake to you. And it's not that they're doing it intentionally. Okay, a lot of people don't even know it, but a lot of people are inauthentic. Some may be intentionally trying to be manipulative. Others are just unconsciously owned by the desire to look good or the desire to be liked. And other people just don't want to face the truth that exists deep within them. But what we're left with is a very radically inauthentic society where everything is on a custard layer. Everything is about being socially acceptable and proper. And everything is about protecting each other from feeling bad or feeling pain. But what happens over time as we deepen our spiritual practice is that there becomes a huge disparity between someone's words and the energy that they bring to a space. This becomes very apparent as you deepen in your spiritual journey. Sometimes it can be difficult and confusing if you're empathic, if you have vision and you have intuition, to know which parts you're supposed to respond to. Do you respond to their words or do you respond to their energy? I remember I just came home from 10 ayahuasca experiences and I was a caddy at a country club, and this golfer was super needy and he was asking me questions, and I didn't know if I should answer his questions or if I should just say, hey man, it's okay, don't worry, like we all appreciate you. And at one point of the day, I just simply called out the neediness, but I didn't do it intentionally. He was asking me a bunch of weird questions and I just said, hey man, like we all appreciate you. And he couldn't understand why I was saying that. To him, he was just at the surface level of his questions. For me, I was feeling his energy, which was needing something from me. He needed validation from me. His question was just a means to get there. So it really does pose a question. Do you answer the question or do you answer the person? And that's just something to think about. But to truly be free and authentic, you want to witness and integrate the incessant desire to be liked, loved, and to look good. Even with the best of intentions, someone can still be inauthentic if they are just owned by the need to look good or the need to perform. So another example, right? If you ever lived in Portland, Oregon, it was the most bizarre thing for me coming from New Jersey to go to Portland because there's a lot of passive aggression in Portland. People would smile at me and say hello, but with their eyes, they were like hating me. You know, you go to a restaurant and the waiter is like, hi, how can I help you? Hi, so good to see you. And it's like, wow, your words are one thing and your energy is hatred. For me, it scrambled my system, okay? You might see this in your own world. This video is gonna help you understand all of that. So another thing that happens on the spiritual journey is that hopefully you start to rest in a deeper seat inside of yourself, a seat that is not tethered to the dramatic swings of the emotional body and of the mind. Have you ever accidentally cut somebody off on the road and you watch as they freak out and they put their life on the line by trying to make sure that you see that they're giving you the middle finger? You can react, and you can also just remain perfectly still, unfazed, smile at them, and even wave. You would process how insane it is for someone to risk their life to curse you off, and how much they have been hijacked. They want to steal your mental, emotional real estate. And so when you have access to the inner observer, it's all like a movie. You can't even believe that actor is doing that. It's like a joke, right? And you would just feel like they must be insane. Check out this road rage video that I just watched today that completely cracked me up, that has some of the themes here that we're talking about. But essentially, you'll see how hijacked this dude gets and how the guy's response completely completely decharges the situation. And you can see how psychotic he went in 1 second.
I said this is a lane. You're parking in a...
I know, I'm waiting for the car. I just came out to my parents. I came out to my parents that I'm gay. I don't know how to tell my parents that I'm gay. I just came out to my parents. I'm bisexual. I don't know what to do anymore.
Dude, I get it. Just to park here. I get it. Just, please, man. Come on. You're in a lane. You have to go.
I will.
I get it.
I'm bisexual. I'm figuring out. I just came out to my parents. A little emotional right now.
Okay. Sorry.
Thank you.
The next thing that may happen to you on the journey of spirituality is that you will start to become acutely aware of where somebody's voice comes from within their body. This is what's known as the voice stream. So similar to the first item we talked about today, inauthenticity and intentions become very apparent when you tune into somebody's voice stream. You can feel if somebody has integrity. You can feel if somebody is speaking from a deep resolve in their belly, or if they're just speaking from the fleeting wind of their mind. You can feel if someone has an agenda. You can feel how well someone knows themselves by tuning into their voice stream, and you can feel how deep they've gone within themselves. And also, the content that they're speaking becomes less important if the voice stream does not match the thing that they're talking about. I don't know if you've ever had a coach on YouTube. I've seen primal coaches, primal masculine coaches who are talking like, let's get in touch with your testosterone. Let's do this thing. Okay, I'm not talking about just the tone of their voice, because you can have a high-pitched voice and still be masculine. I'm not defining it based on the tone. I'm defining it by where they're speaking from. Primal energy, let's do it. Like, that's not primal energy. You can say all the words you want, but primal energy comes from your balls. Primal energy comes from your belly. So you have to connect to that, or else your content doesn't really matter. Your content is just noise. When you connect your content to truth, embodied experience, that's when you can move mountains. That's when you're trustworthy. That's when you can change spaces and change people's lives. Otherwise, it's just like reading another book or watching another YouTube video. It's very limited in what it can do for you. Another thing that happens on the spiritual journey is that life becomes a series of spaces. As you progress on your journey of detox, cleansing, healing, your interactions can be looked at as a series of spaces. So spaces of consciousness are essentially flavors, colors, feelings, and spiritual forces that enter a room when you interact with the world. Have you ever had an experience of speaking to someone's ego? The ego carries a very particular space of consciousness. It's small, tight, rigid, always threatened, always defending itself. Or if you feel into spaces of somebody who has done a lot of drugs, depending on the drugs, there's usually a fracturing or a frenetic energy in the space. And different rooms carry different spaces. Tune into the energy of a casino, or the energy of a bar, or the energy of a spiritual monastery. The point is that when we allow the mind to take a back seat, spaces of consciousness are revealed to us, and we have bodily reactions to these spaces, and we are informed of which direction to go, who to hang out with, which employee to hire, which job to take, because the internal calculator of feeling is far more intelligent than the simple calculator of the mind. If you feel like you're tripping on acid in 2025, but you're not taking any drugs, don't worry, you're not alone. You're entering a split in consciousness, okay? Some people are becoming Homo sapiens spiritus, awakened wild human being. Some people are falling more into Homo sapien domesticus, a domesticated human being. You're not alone. The deeper you heal, the deeper you go within yourself, the more authentic you get, the more you might start looking outside of yourself like you're on a planet filled with aliens. It's totally normal. Keep going. You got this. See you on the other side.